Hey there, everybody. Are you guys ready to talk about the power of action? Accountability, action. Let's do this. Are you guys ready? Here we go. Okay, was trying something new there. Wanted to see how that would look and work. And so, first question for you guys. Thank you for checking in. My question is, can you guys hear me okay? I'm trying a different microphone, so I don't have this microphone in my face, but I don't have that one on. So, can you hear me okay? I guess is my first question. But good afternoon to you, Chuck. Hello, Tanya. Thank you for being here. Nikki, good afternoon. Amanda, hello. Okay, excellent. You guys can hear me? Awesome. All right, let's dive right into this here. Great opportunity to just talk about some stuff that, hi, Michelle, thank you. Thank you guys for confirming that for me. So some of you guys, in fact, Amanda was there, so I got to see Amanda in person. That was awesome. We had a great conversation on Saturday about how we can achieve our goals and get there. And just because my name is Aaron, I always joke that my parents paid extra for the extra A so I can get at the front of the phone book, even though nobody knows what a phone book is anymore. There are two other A's, double A's, that I think are really crucial for us to talk about. And it's accountability and action. And I think this is the secret ingredient that we all need. Mirror right here, right? Looking at that mirror, that we all need, because we've spent so much time, right? So wherever you're at on that age scale, for me, I turned 50 this year. So I've spent 50 years kind of, for lack of a better way of putting it, letting my subconscious down, right? Like when you say these things in our, even if it's just thoughts, right? Like, oh, I'm going to start that diet today. I'm going to finally make that hard call. I'm going to get everything on my to-do list done. I'm going to insert whatever you believe you're going to do when you start your day. And then, right, day happens, normal stuff happens. And each time we do that, right, we sit there and go, oh, I'm let down, right? But that feeling comes from the internal. It comes from your subconscious saying, okay, I understand that you're saying all these things, but I don't believe you because your actions don't match the words, right? That, or have those hard conversations. 100% there, Nikki. Thank you for adding that. So each time we do that, right, internally, our subconscious kind of goes, and then we start not believing in ourselves. We start lacking that self-trust. And as small business owners here, right, having that self-trust is so crucial. We have to believe it's possible before we can achieve anything that we want. And so when you don't do what you say you're going to do, bad things start happening, right? And so when we go back to those key ingredients, accountability and action, then we can start rebuilding it, right? So accountability is the first part of this. And a lot of times we think of accountability and we go, okay, yes, I'm accountable to someone else, right? I'm accountable to, I said, I told Aaron I was going to do this thing. I told so-and-so I was going to do this thing. I told my spouse or partner that I was going to do this thing, right? And so that internal integrity, or I'm sorry, external integrity, wrong way, right? That is the part that we think about externally, right? We don't go back inside enough. But the internal integrity is probably more crucial than the external integrity, because to be honest with you, the people on the outside, it's not that they don't care, it's not that they don't love you, but they've got their own stuff that they're carrying around, that they're dealing with, that they're trying to overcome. So if you tell somebody that you're going to do something and you don't do it, more than likely they're like, either right. They've kind of let you off the hook well before you ever let yourself off the hook, right? And so to reignite our self-trust, we need to start thinking about how are we investing in our success, right? And the idea here is, how committed are you? Right? Like, I know I've spent years and years and years saying I'm committed to these things. But what I'm noticing is what I'm committed to shows up in the actions that I take. Right. So I've been saying that I'm committed to getting my body in shape and getting healthier. But yet, about 30 minutes ago, I stuffed a cupcake into my face. Right. So my subconscious is going, no, you're not serious about that. And therefore, I don't really. Right. So I got to start making more gradual changes. I got to start taking actions. I got to start figuring out ways that when that cupcake's sitting in the cabinet and I'm home alone and Lewis is at school, Kylene's at work, that I forget about it, right? Right. So it's really crucial that we start figuring out, are we invested in the success that we say that we want through our deeds? So let me start here, right? As I mentioned earlier, the external is where we're most of the time our minds go. We're worried about what other people think, and so on and so forth. And if you're not somebody that has that, then that's okay. My guess is, there's still some external factor that you're holding on to, and it's not the internal side. Because if it was the internal side and it was important enough to us, then we wouldn't really need to be working on this, because we'd already be moving ourselves forward. So what I'm talking about is any place where you're stuck, or maybe you're not moving forward, or you're having a hard time overcoming it, or whatever. So the best way to do this, though, is to go to, I don't know, I like to call it the easy button, right? Like, what's your easy button? And if you're a recovering people pleaser like me, the easy button is to look for that external validation. If you're somebody that's, trying to, you know, I don't want to say looking for outside approval, but kind of, you know, in my case, like significance, right? I want to make an impact, right? But when I'm focused on how I look, that's when problems start showing up, right? So there's another easy button that I can lean into. And so what we have to do is lean into those things and start there, right? So if I tell somebody I'm going to do something, then I need to lean into that. I need to start building systems, processes that allow me to follow through on those things that I said I'm going to do. Right. Amanda's heard this story already, but middle of last week, I had a meeting with one of the folks in our mastermind group, and we were, overcoming some things, talking through some things, and I was getting all excited. She was getting all excited because we're making solutions. We're finding ways to overcome some of the challenges that she had. And in the heat of it, in the moment, I started going, oh, well, I can help with that. I can do that. I can do that. Right. Because I wanted to be part of it. Right. I'm like, I was getting excited. And I just made these three comments offhand of things that I would do. Right. Now, I, I don't, my guess is, looking back, kind of from the bigger picture, she probably didn't think a thing of it. Right. Like, yeah, great or not. I'm already helping her with solutions, and she's, kind of getting into it. So whether I did those things or not, right, she probably would have, like, not even thought twice about it. Right. But I've started catching myself in those moments, right? I didn't catch myself soon enough to not do that. Right. I just let the excitement of the moment catch me, which is great, which is fine. But I then realized, okay, I made these commitments. I said I was going to do these three things. And though I'm not a fantastic note taker, I'm getting better at a system, because my notes don't make sense to even me sometimes. Uh, but the reality is, I know what works for me, right? So the three things that I wrote down, I scribble them on the notes, that these are the three things, and then I circle them. And at the end of the day, I take all the notes that I've made throughout the day, and all of the things that I've circled are my to-dos, things that I've made commitments to, things that I said I'm going to do. And then I try to get those into my time management system and go from there. Right. So start there. Right. Figure out ways to catch yourself before you're making commitments to things that maybe you shouldn't be, that you're just doing for that external validation of whatever flavor that is for you. And none of the, again, I don't know if again is the right word, but none of those external flavors, right? Let go of the labels of it. Whatever it is for you, whether you think it's, oh my gosh, it's ego, people pleaser, who cares? None of that matters. That's the whole point here, is we're working towards improving this stuff. and designing a business and therefore life that we want to lead. Right? So start there, right? Have a system to make those commitments. And then the next part of this action and accountability is all about your investment level, right? So we think of investment, we think, okay, here's my wallet, here's how much money this is going to cost me, and then I get something in return, right? And if we're even going one step further, right, I invest in the stock market, I invest in a savings account, and I get interest, and right, so my return on investment is how much money I get back. Well, you have to look at investment from the bigger picture and understand that investment comes in multiple flavors: time, money, combination of both, energy, right? Really, at the end of the day, the biggest kind of category to look at is your energy, right? So the energy might be related to both time and money, but how much ability, energy you do you have to put towards something, right? And so the accountability then shows up when you start making investments based on the return on that investment, the energy I put in, the time I put in, the money that I put in, not looking at what's in it for me, but what is the return, right? So if I can help somebody and there is a return, right? They're able to be lifted up, and a rising tide lifts all boats, and therefore the tide goes up. That's a return on my investment of time, right? Or maybe it's I make an investment into a program and I get better, and I'm able to then ripple that out from there. I make an investment into the folks that are in the t-shirt printing business here, or the sublimators here, or whatever. I make an investment into a piece of equipment. What am I able to create beyond that investment into that piece of equipment, right? Can I make gifts for people? Can I brighten people's day? Can I have families, have memorials, whatever it is for you and your business? What is that return on investment, right? So a lot of times though, that investment, in fact, let me back up. I'm going to go cancel to a lot of times. I'm going to make a bold statement here. Every time that investment requires an action. I don't know if that's a bold statement or not, if you guys can agree or disagree with me. And that's okay, right? I'm not sitting here trying to preach to you. What I'm trying to do is see if we can have a conversation. But every time you need to, or you're going to make an investment, there is an action you have to take, right? I have to buy the thing. I have to set the meeting. I have to, etc. Right? There are some tasks, there are some actions that go along with that, right? So a lot of times that's what gets in our way, though. Like that little thing right there, right? It's all out in front of you. All the things you need, all of the abilities that you need, everything's all out in front of you. And a lot of times, the thing, and sorry, I'm gonna try to stop saying a lot of times, because I think there's a lot more than a lot of times. It could be all the time. I don't want to make a blanket statement per se, and I can be proven wrong. So I'm totally okay with that. But the action is what holds us back. The do the thing that we said we're going to do is what holds us back. So I'll go. In fact, let me get to Tanya's comment here first. Sometimes you need to get out of your own way or overcome the fear paralysis, right? Absolutely. And and sometimes it's just a matter of, Tanya's a perfect example of this, and she uses this: choose what you need as often as you need it, is what she says, right? And so sometimes the getting out of your own way is just to say, you know what, this isn't working for me. Let me make a different choice right now. Try it out. Take the action. Make a different choice. Do a different thing. Have a different mindset, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm going to use so 4 years ago, I guess now, about ish. Yeah, about four. I don't know. I really started the big part of my journey to finally start understanding some of these truths that I'm feeling like I'm uncovering along the way here. Back in 2018, that's when I went to One Day to Greatness with Jack Canfield. I always had interest in all this stuff, but I would say that was kind of like the marker, right? At that point, I'd worked for other people, still was for quite a while after that. But so 2018 kind of started that journey for me, and I started thinking about it, and like trying to act on it, trying to take action. I learned actually in that moment that it was my action that was holding me back, or lack thereof. And then started our success group, and have spent the last 4 years building tools, building resources, building opportunities for action takers. Right. So I'm realizing this the further I go along, that our desire to like give, I think, is part of all of us a little bit, different varying degrees for wherever we're at. Right. So, but for me, that desire to give also comes along with a need to be aligned with action takers. I have I don't know, it just one of the values that rubs against me are the situations where there's an expectation of do something for me without me, right? It is, to me, it is a rising tide that lifts all boats, and kind of the lumps in that tide. Um, I'm not interested in, right? Let's get them off our ocean as far as I'm concerned. Again, nothing wrong when they're ready to get on that tide, then let's come along. But action takers are what I'm looking for. So I didn't really realize this, but for the most part, I think I've done a pretty good job of all these tools. And a lot of times I don't charge for any of these things. It's about like, you got to take an action, right? You got to put a hashtag in a comment. You've got to do this, right? I'm actually going to throw an action at the end where we can do a thing together. And so if you take an action and you make an investment, then I'm going to bend over backwards to make sure that I do my part, right? And a good example, there you go. Nikki says, I'm an action taker. High five. Yes, you are. Boom. Right. So that's kind of something that I learned about myself. And I think, everybody's got our own thing, right? What is it? What is your thing that is kind of the requirement to work with you? Right? So what's your ideal customer look like? What's your ideal partner look like? Partner meaning person that you're working, collaborating with. Right. So, and a specific example for me is, I'd offer an opportunity to a select group of people to, in exchange for some feedback and whatnot, to take our Breaking Barriers program. And I sent that out to about 20 plus people that had either purchased it in the past, or some other, deal. I needed people that I knew I could get feedback from. So these were kind of the closest people I could find. I could say, okay, they're actions takers. Right. And so, like I said, I send that out to about 20 plus people. And um, 2 people said, yes, I'm going to make that investment of the time. Right. So I was blown away by that. But then it reminded me of this story. And actually, I saw it in action. In fact, I was one of the non-action takers in this moment at One Day to Greatness, the in-person seminar that I went to, Jack Canfield. He held up on stage and said, I think he had, I don't know if he had a $20 bill or $100 bill. I can't remember exactly what it was, but let's just say it's a $20 bill, right? Held up a $20 bill and said, who wants this? Everybody's hands go up, me, all of that. And he just held it there. He just kept holding it there. Finally, somebody got out of their chair. They went and took it out of his hand and went and sat back down. Like, that's action. And that was the whole point. Like, we're all willing to say, oh yeah, help me, I need help. But you got to actually take the action. You got to be the leader, and you got to be able to be willing to push a little bit outside your comfort zone, right? I sat in my chair because it was uncomfortable. There was probably 500 other people there, right? I didn't want to look greedy. I didn't want to look needy. And so I just sat in my chair, right? And all I had to do was get my butt out of the chair, go grab the $20 bill and sit back down, and I have an extra $20 bill in my pocket, right? So think about that with your business. Who's holding a $20 bill that you're not willing to go ask them for, or to go take it out of their hand because they're wanting to give it away, right? So there's an example of what the action looks like. Now let's figure out how then we can get this to go to work for us, right? And this was an example I used at our talk on Saturday, Amanda. So we talk about going to the gym, right? Like, going to the gym, getting a gym membership maybe, or even having a gym that you can go to, right? I joked on Saturday that I drive by gyms all the time, right? So that's one thing, right? That's like saying, yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested in improving my health. I'm going to get a gym membership. But if you are committed to it, right? If that is an important thing for you, if you're saying this is one of the most important things in my life, right? Maybe the difference is hiring a personal trainer, committing to taking to sorry, committing to making that an appointment on your calendar instead of oh, I'm going to try to do this every day, right? It's that commitment level. So how are you aligning with that commitment level? So Nikki says sometimes those actions can seem and or feel uncomfortable but necessary. 100%, Nikki. And I think that's the hardest part, right? Is because I'm sitting there saying all this stuff, right? I've got a list of bullet points I can look at. I think about these types of things all the time. And in the moment, it's really hard, right? So, and I'm sitting there asking myself these things the whole time. Like, what is it that I need to do? What am I not doing enough of, right? So, but we can do the same thing with our business goals as if we were going to get a personal trainer. Not saying you have to get a personal trainer, not saying you have to get a personal coach, but let's say you're somebody that has been actively engaged. Let's just say you're somebody that's watching this video and you're just watching, right? So I know we've got a few people live and we do have a great amount of people that are engaging, which is great, right? And so that's a good level of engagement. And so I know I've got some more committed people here. But what if you were to say, okay, well, this is something I think is really valuable. Let's watch it. Maybe I'm going to get my close success team. Maybe I'm going to get the people that are my go-to resources around me, my friends, the people that pick me up, the people that give me a kick in the butt when I need it, and say, okay, hey, can we watch this thing together? It's 30 minutes. I don't know where we're going to end up at today. And then can we also then spend an extra 10 minutes afterwards and discuss it and figure out how we can put that to work ourselves, right? So instead of just reading the article or watching the video, why not get some accountability to actually put it into action, right? Or maybe it is like a personal trainer where you do need to sign up for some accountability, one-on-one coaching, some group accountability, get a mastermind group that's all about accountability, those types of things, right? Ultimately, though, the answer is not a specific do this, this, or this. The answer is to get more engaged, right? Because ultimately at the end of the day, what's right for you is right for you. And I can't tell you what to do specifically, right? I can help you find a solution that might align with you. But at the same time, you have to take the action, right? You have to be willing to get your butt out of the chair and go grab the $20 bill. You have to be willing to set up the meeting. You have to be willing to be the leader, right? So when you're around growth mindset people, lean into that support. Don't hide from it, right? Set that meeting. If you feel like you got off track and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't do the things I said I was going to do. I feel so embarrassed, right? That should be a great indicator for you that I need to lean into my success team. I need to say, hey, I'm sorry. I need some help. Will you guys help me? And can I set up a meeting so we can talk about getting back on track? Right? You have to start acting as if you are at the place where you want to be. You have to start acting as if you are beyond that to find the solutions to get there. Right? Accountability is being inspired to do the hard things and go from there. So I've got a great example for you here on somebody that is willing to kind of lean in and act as if. In fact, she is right here. Michelle says, I need to get over my fear mindset. I take action, but accountability would be great, right? And here's the neat part. So Michelle says, I'm going to do the breaking barriers, but was thinking I would wait until after fun, but now hearing Becky talk about maybe sooner. Okay, cool. But Michelle is a fantastic example of this, right? So she was mentioning at some point that she, one of her things is she's working on her her health, right? And we all are. I think we all have different areas. Heck, I need it. And so talking about it, but she went from talking about it to saying, okay, I'm going to put a challenge into the group. Right. So starting January 1st, she's got a challenge. Now I'm trying to lean into that myself and go, okay, how committed am I to my health right now? Right. Are there things that I'm looking at? I need to be, right. But I have to weigh that out because I know that I have to also limit the things I say yes to, but I also have to understand where that's going to weigh, right? Like uh, how, if I got to look at the big picture, right? I can go, oh man, I just don't have time for that right now. But if I look back 3 months from now and go, oh man, I didn't have time not to do that because now I'm paying the price. Now I'm in the hospital. Now I'm not feeling well, not whatever, right? Now I can't get the things done or can't, or I'm unable to currently be with my current energy level. So can't's not the right word there. But so finding that commitment. But Michelle was a perfect example of that because she said, you know what? Okay, I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to be a leader. I'm going to set something up. Now, whether anybody does that with her or not, that's not a sign of anything, right? Like just because I would go, oh my gosh, that's really awesome, and then I don't do it, that means nothing for me, right? Because again, this is about going back into the external. We're utilizing the opportunity to get support from others and some accountability and some other things like that. But the reality is, Michelle's already won because she's already put it out there, right? Now, what you do with it next, boom, 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 right? Then it all starts to build. So I guess to kind of wrap this up a little bit, and again, uh, wrapping it up from my side, I want to hear from you guys, right? I've been talking. I don't know if I've been talking in circles. I don't know if any of this is making sense. Not that you guys haven't been great at communicating here, but what stands out for you? What doesn't make sense? What you're saying, hey, I'm missing this piece, Aaron. Help me think about this. Put that in there, right? Wherever you guys are at. Because at the end of the day, we're not going to get this right now. Like I've spent a lot of time thinking about this. I've spent a lot of time trying to act on this. I've spent a lot of time designing trainings around this, right? I got an opportunity to share on Saturday. Super proud of the way it came out, super proud of the people that were there and the actions that they took, and just super proud to be part of that community there in Franklin County. And now I'm looking at that going, man, that was great, right? How can I do more of that? Right. But in all of that, I understand that I've got things I'm going to do. So it will be a constant thing, right? And Rory Vaden in his book, I think it's Takes the Stairs. It could be Procrastinate on Purpose. So if I'm wrong on that, don't hate me for it. But one of those two books, I'm pretty sure it was Take the Stairs. He said success is only rented and the rent is due every day, right? Seems really heavy at first, but in hindsight, it just means, right, it's about continuous daily improvement. It's always striving to be a little bit better. And from that, you're going to continue to grow more joy and abundance. So why not try to pay the rent every day? It's not saying that we have to scratch and claw and fight and give everything every day. It's give a little bit, right? Give a little bit to grow. So how can I be more accountable? How can I take more action? Those are the two A's that we're talking about here. So I want to know from you guys what you're thinking. Where are we at here? Did we cover some things that are going to be useful for you? And then ultimately, like I said, I'm looking to work with action takers. I've actually spent a little bit of time trying to figure out, like, who are the folks within this community, wherever, right? That, and I want you guys to think about this for your business too, because Sandy says, I feel so called out. Well, Sandy, I chuckle because the whole time, see, this is what I love about this stuff. And this is what I love about the people that I've been able to surround myself with, like Nikki, like Tanya, like Michelle, like Sandy, like Becky and Kylene and the other masters of Allison, Angela, Andy, Wendy, all the other Masters of Success members, and then the greater OSG community with Chuck and Darren and all these folks, right? Is I sit there and I write this stuff. I think about this stuff. I want to put together things like this. And the entire time I'm literally, in some cases, because one of the desks that I do a lot of this kind of thinking at has a mirror right there in front of it. So I'm talking to myself. I am not calling a single person out, but every time I look at the mirror and I say, here's what I could do better, I know that the action takers, the growth minded people that I've surrounded myself with, they're going to go, man, I feel called out. So it's not intentional. It's not like I'm trying to call somebody out in a negative way. It just happens that way. But literally, I'm looking at myself. All right. So thank you, Sandy, for sharing that. Okay. So I think you guys can look at how you can do this inside of your business too. Um, yeah, it says Tanya says, I say I feel that way as well, and I laugh. Yes. um, that's good. So that means we're all right on that tide and we're all growing together. So, all right. So, ideal customers, right? And this is just for our success group, but think about this for yours, right? What are the values? What are the things? So, I know, or I've been learning that there's really about 4 key areas that make an ideal partner as a small business owner that our success group can be very effective with. Um, and I know that when working with people that fall into these 4 categories, we're going to do some great things together, right? So if all 4 of these categories are there, we're going to do some great things together. So think about that for your company, right? What makes your ideal customer ideal, right? Get some categories, some boxes that they might fall into there a little bit. And I also know that if there's 3 of the 4 things that we'll do pretty well, but there's definitely going to be some work to do. There's going to be some bigger challenges to overcome, right? And really, if it's all 4, it's really just a matter of patience more than anything. If it's only 3, then there's definitely going to be some things we got to overcome. Now, I've also discovered that if it's 2 or less, it's probably not a good fit. And sometimes I just have to, right? Because this is where then we all start going, oh my gosh, I just want to do business with everybody. I got to hug everybody. The reality is, when you're trying to hug everybody, you're not hugging the people you need to hug tight enough, right? So we kind of got to let them go until they're ready to come back. So here we go. Um, Nikki says, we don't let boats sink around here, right? Nikki told me that earlier today, and I felt like she was giving me a warm hug at the same time. Every time it sounds like you were talking directly to me. See, there we go, right? The people here, we all get it. So we're talking to each other here. So, all right, here's those 4 categories real quick for you. Solution oriented learners, right? We're actively seeking actionable insights to help with information overload and finding effective strategies for them. Not just consumers of information, but implementers of information, right? That's what a solution oriented learner is to me. And then also the next category is growth minded investor, right? They're looking for investment opportunities that's going to maximize their return on investment, not what's in it for them, but how much impact can they make because of their investment. They do not have the time or the desire to go wade through tons of ideas that are available to them, right? That they want to make the most impact as quickly as possible. The third category is accountable action takers, right? So individuals who take ownership of their actions, they're committed to their plans, and they're looking for a supportive framework so they can maintain that momentum. Um, Ultimately, right, we do what we say we're going to do as often as possible, and then we apologize when we can't, and we figure out how to keep that from happening in the future, right? And then the fourth category are community leaders, and I've got leaders in all caps because we're looking for people that want to build relationships and they want to seek out supportive networks and they want to work with like-minded individuals, but they're not just part of the community. They lead in their own way, right? They also lead their own community. Maybe that's their family, maybe that's their kids, maybe that's their city that they're from, maybe it's even bigger community, right? Maybe they've got a Facebook group, Nikki, right? Again, I mentioned Michelle as a great example of this, putting that fitness challenge out there. So check that out in the Fall in Love with Your Business Facebook group, and then you can get into her group with the fitness challenge. And like I said, I'm still on the fence. I want to be able to commit to it, but then I want to be able to actually do what I say I'm going to do. I think it's a fantastic program, and I just got to make sure that it works for me. So, right, who fits those 4 categories? Right, I'm not asking you because I'm trying to ask you per se. I know the people in here that are engaged and commenting, they fit the categories, so I'm not worried about that. But who's looking for solutions, not just more ideas? Who's ready to invest? And invest your time in following through, right? Who's willing to take action? So think about that for your business, right? What are the things that you're looking for fit? And then warm hug, right? Grab onto them, but make sure that they fit in that bucket first. So you're not trying to grab everybody and then people are falling out the bottom, right? And so, I guess kind of to wrap this thing up, that I want to like make one last final statement that really stood out to me. Commit with purpose to your success. Don't treat it as a passing interest. You may have seen that on my personal story today, because I just feel like that's something that's really speaking to me. Again, I'm looking in the mirror here. I'm not talking to anybody specifically out there. So commit with purpose to your success. Don't just treat it as a passing interest. All right. So I said, I love tools. I love having opportunities. So if you'll take a little bit of action, go here to osg.link/thank you. There's a very short little survey, and that'll help me kind of understand where we're starting from. And then let's figure out an action plan together. All right. Let's get on a call. Let's make sure that you're heading in the right direction. I know some of you guys are coming out to Fundamentals Live, like Michelle and Tanya, and whatnot. So, maybe we can kind of, we'll have plenty of time there. But everybody else, right, hit that link, osg.link/thank you. This was a gift that I gave the folks on Saturday that wanted to have an opportunity. The gift is not me, by the way. The gift is an opportunity to get perspective and look at things a little bit differently, to say, okay, I might be too close to this. I can't see the forest for the trees. So let me talk to this guy that has this tendency to want to be 30,000 foot view all the time. And he might be able to see something or give me a thought or an idea that I didn't see before. So this is a gift for you to gain some perspective. It has nothing to do with me. All right. But I just need a little bit from you. I need action takers, right? We got to find that balance together. So there we go. osg.link/thank you. If you'll head over there or put a bookmark in that when you need it, it'll be there. You could go to it anytime. Once you fill out that survey, then we'll set up a meeting together, just do a virtual meeting. It says 15 to 30 minutes. We'll take the time that we need to make sure that you have the perspective and at least some ideas to get you unstuck. All right. Okay. That is what I have for you. I'm going to leave you guys unless there's any other comments. So I'm going to give you a second to do that. But I also found a new little AI toy that I was playing with. And there's a new Our Success Group theme song. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. It's about a minute and a half. And if you want to listen to it to the end, you got it. But there you go. That's what I got for you guys today. So thank you all so much for spending a little bit of time with me here this afternoon. And I know I've been a little MIA. I'm getting super excited. We're 10 days away from Fundamentals Live. So if you are not coming to Fundamentals Live and all of a sudden you decide, shoot, you know what, I do need to make that commitment. No worries. We got you. Just reach out to me. We'll get it figured out. If there's something holding you back that maybe there's a solution for, right? Remember, if there's a $20 bill standing there waiting for you to come grab it, and all you have to do is actually ask, all you have to do is get your butt out of the chair. Like, I'm not calling anybody out. Again, looking in the mirror, but we need to ask. So all you got to do is ask me. You guys know how to reach me. So just reach out any way that's comfortable for you. And Tanya says, hey, have a great afternoon. Also, here we go. I will leave you with the new Our Success Group theme song, a little fun AI tool. And I will tell you what that AI tool is if you reach out to me. And after you've listened to the song, though, please do that. All right. Have a great day, everybody.
Gaze overwhelmed, trapped in a maze. Small business owner, stress had me in a daze. Every problem piled up, couldn't catch a break. Thought I couldn't make it, my dreams were at stake. But then I found a group that changed my whole perspective. Our success group of a community so effective. We all chasing that dream, sharing struggles and fears. They understood my journey, wiped away my tears. Together we broke through, we rise above. No more feeling stuck, we're fueled by love. Our small business is shining, reaching new heights. With the support of our success group, we're taking flight. The power is strong, the vision's so clear. Building our dreams with no more fear. Together broke